Welcome back, all you Fabricans and Fleshbags, to the super, not funny show reviews. And this week, we're going to be reviewing the series, the Book of Boba Fett Star Wars series, coming to you from Disney Plus. So, was it good? Was it bad? And should you be watching? Yes, the Book of Boba Fett. Highly anticipated, especially after that stinger at the end of Mandalorian Season 2. It was promising to be a great follow-up to how Boba Fett appeared in the Mandalorian Season 2. And let's just say everyone super excited about it. So, and the first Star Wars thing that we were going to get in 2022. Starring Tamora Morrison, making his return as a much older Boba Fett, and also Ming-Na Wen reprising her role as Fennec Shand. And the idea is that at the end of the Mandalorian Season 2, we saw that Fennec and Boba roll up into Jabba's palace and kill the guy sitting in the seat. I forget his name, but he was a former, I guess, right-hand man to Jabba the Hutt, and it was running his whole empire. So the promise was Boba Fett takes over as a crime lord and is going to run the underground on Tatooine or something like that. But what did we actually get? I'll say straight up, this whole show is essentially an exercise in missed opportunity. Because what we were sort of promised by the end of the end of the Mandalorian, was Boba Fett taking over and becoming a crime boss. And what we got was Boba Fett killing a guy and then telling everybody, I guess I'm in charge or something like that. And it's this is all from the mind of Jon Favreau, Robert Rodriguez doing most of the directing or producing and all that other stuff. He to his credit, he did do a pretty good job on the episode where Boba Fett came in on the Mandalorian. And so what we get now is really sort of at least for the first couple 2 or 3 episodes, an understanding of where the hell Boba Fett was from the end of Return of the Jedi, and how did he get to be where he was in the Mandalorian. And so that's all told in flashbacks in the first couple episodes. And from then on, how is he consolidating his power? How is he gaining allies? Who's opposing him? In this case, the Pike Syndicate, who were spice runners, trying to take over because there's a power vacuum. And who's going to fight on his side? And then there's a big war and everything. What this boils down to is 7 episodes of Boba Fett diminishing his stature in the eyes of not only people on Tatooine and in the galaxy, but also in the eyes of us fans. I literally was calling this show the Book of Boring Fett, the Book of Sloba Fett, because to be honest, the pace is so bad at times, so slow. Even when there's some interesting things happening, like Boba Fett being involved with the Sand Peoples, and becoming ingratiated into their culture and learning their ways. That's interesting. When they come across a speeder bike gang and he sort of deals with them, that's interesting. When he tries to negotiate on their behalf with the Pikes or whatever to get protection money, that's interesting. But it's slow going to get to them in the first place. And Tamora Morrison, I want to give him some leeway, but he doesn't do a lot. He doesn't do a lot of talking. He doesn't do a lot of emoting or anything like that. There are interesting action sequences, but it's pretty clear like he doesn't have a good step because he's just older. And I get that. That's supposed to be what Boba Fett. He's sort of lost a step. That's why he needs his armor. That's why he goes to the Mandalorian to get his armor back. All that good stuff. But it's just slow walking. There's a lot of slow walking of everything that could have been compressed into an episode or two. We don't understand his motivation. Why is he doing any of this? We don't understand why he wants to go from being a bounty hunter. I guess he wants to be a boss now. And more importantly, why the hell doesn't he listen to Fennec Shand? That's one of my biggest problems with this show is why does she follow such a clearly incompetent leader? A man who in an underworld setting is trying to be a nice guy. In what world does being a nice guy work when you're a crime leader? He doesn't lean on anyone. He doesn't make examples of anyone. He lets people talk to him any which way. He lets people renege on their promises. All that stuff. All he has working for him is his mystique as Boba Fett. And that's even dwindles. The Pike Syndicate doesn't believe in him because he has no muscle. He has no, real claim to anything. So beyond that, this show ends up being an exercise in cameos and drop-ins of stuff where you can be like, hey, I know that thing. I've seen that thing before. Oh, he got a Rancor. Cool. There's this guy. There's this component thing here. There's all that keeps happening. That to some degree doesn't have anything to do with anything. They're just throwing it in to say, hey, this is a thing that exists. Even when we get characters that come back that we sort of know, we get Cobb Vanth that shows up again, and this is a bright spot. Cobb Vanth being basically a marshal or sheriff protecting his part of Tatooine and running afoul of the Pike Syndicate and getting the drop on them, and then having once again a drop-in cameo or character from Dave Filoni's part of the Star Wars universe, Cad Bane, showing up and being this badass gunslinger that takes him out, and that's really apparently kills him, or maybe not kills him, but it really hurts him, and that's really cool, and it promises something that sort of pays off later, but not really. That's interesting. And then we get, for some inexplicable reason, we have 2 episodes of The Mandalorian within the book of Boba Fett, where Boba Fett is nowhere to be seen. None of it makes no sense. If you wanted the book of Boba Fett should have just been, instead of The Mandalorian being in the book of Boba Fett, the book of Boba Fett should have been in The Mandalorian season 3. Because this all felt like it could have been done in 2 or 3 episodes of the Mandalorian. Because again, the slow pace. I did enjoy the Mandalorian bits. I did enjoy the parts where Fennec Shand was allowed to kind of run free instead of rolling her eyes at Boba Fett making yet another stupid ass decision. I did like seeing Grogu again. Everyone wanted to see Baby Yoda again. We saw Grogu again, and we saw Luke and all of that stuff. It's great. But Luke and Ahsoka show up, and they have very little to do with the actual book of Boba Fett. They're just everything that happened in that episode with Luke and Ahsoka and Grogu could have just been said in a line elsewhere. It felt like padding. It felt like, unfortunately, the best episodes of the show because Boba Fett himself doesn't really live up to the hype. And so we get a finale that's setting up with Din Djarin, the Mandalorian showing up, and obviously Grogu's going to show up. And then there's all this sort of some of the laziest tropes that get thrown in there. You have, at some point, the tactical genius that is Boba Fett deciding not to do anything to fortify anything, not to set up sharpshooters, not to in any way have a plan, but just wait for people to come to him. And when they come, they get overrun. And the little speeder bike gang that I don't know why he employs them. They don't look like they can do anything, and they don't really do much. And they in the season finale, there's there's a fight, and I don't understand why they are even in the fight because they're not useful. Then they more or less just they practice stormtrooper shooting where they don't really shoot anything except walls, and they get taken out accidentally or they take somebody out accidentally, and it literally takes Fennec Shand to come over there and finish everything off. I honestly I don't understand why this isn't the book of Fennec Shand because she would be a better leader and more badass and more effective than Boba Fett. The final episode actually I'd say deserves its own little bit of criticism because I don't understand why a finale episode is so damn boring. It's I don't. There's all sorts of stuff going on. There's laser blasts and people are running around and shooting, and it's not compelling. It's not compelling. There's, we get droid tanks with, with an energy shield, and you have these idiots who know about droid tanks with energy shields just shooting repeatedly at this energy shield that they know is going to block everything. They're not even trying to do it like Black Chrysanthemum was doing concentrated fire. They're not. Everyone's just shooting, and it's doing nothing. And so you just wonder: are these guys stupid? Have they just never been in a real fight before? You even have the Mandalorian and Boba Fett sort of doing. It looks cool, but it looks stupid also. It's a dumb thing to do the way they go jetpacking around and fighting. And then of course, Boba Fett goes and brings a Rancor, which seems cool. He's riding King Kong essentially, and it can beat up these things, these robot tanks. But other than that, it's cool, but it's also kind of dumb. What's the point of bringing the Rancor in? As I've heard other people say, why didn't he just bring his spaceship around the fight? Because of course, that's for Grogu to have something to do. Grogu he's decided, forget being a Jedi. I just want to hang out with Mando. And, he can use the Force and he calms the beast and everything. All that's the only point. It's literally a Chekhov's gun. That's the whole point, was just to give Grogu that bit. So at the end of the day, what happens? Fennec ends up just killing all of the rival leaders anyway. And somehow that makes Boba Fett and Fennec the heroes of Mos Espa. It's just tiresome. I'm just gonna say it straight out. This was a huge disappointment. A huge disappointment. A huge missed opportunity. I don't want to watch this show again. I don't really want to see what Boba Fett's got going on in the future. I would love if Fennec Shand would go off on her own and do. I would watch that show in a heartbeat. But I definitely don't want to watch any more Boba Fett. This was quite honestly was bad. It was just bad. And I don't think it was a worthwhile investment of my time. And it made the Star Wars universe smaller. It made it less compelling. It really harmed a character in my eyes, in the character of Boba Fett. I don't think I'll ever be able to watch any of the Star Wars things again without saying Boba Fett and knowing just how incompetent he truly is, and he lives off his mystique. So I don't like not liking Star Wars stuff, but it is what it is. It just wasn't good. So I don't know. What did you guys think about this episode, and what did you think about what I had to say? Why don't you get down to the comments, let me know what you're thinking. Of course, you can always hit me up, supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com, or at supernotfunnys1 on Twitter, and we could chop it up. Maybe you think I'm just wrong, you just want to, Twitter fight me. That's fine. And while you're down there, you can hit that subscribe button, join the Super Not Funny Show family, and of course, you can always hit the notification bell. It will let you know when we drop new content. All right, all you Fabricans and Fleshbags, thanks for joining me on this series review of the Book of Boba Fett. I have been Mo de Poupée, your resident fabricant and commentator extraordinaire on all things pop culture. And I'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.